Welcome back to Voices in Our Heads. I'm speaking with Griselda Suarez, Executive Director of the Arts Council for Long Beach. So a lot of challenges. I think that what keeps coming up, I mean, I can go back to 2007 when we had a forum at MOLA where a lot of the things you're talking about came up. And, you know, I mean, I came into this wanting to talk about money, but I think it's easy to talk about money without first talking about vision and about where are we going? I mean, what do we want to do? How do we deal with these questions of incorporating communities, all communities in the arts here? So let's talk about that. I mean, let's talk about your vision. If you had to look into the future a year from now, what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see a city that is transparent in their arts process. So any resident, artist, community group can understand, how do I put a mural up? How do I paint one of those utility boxes? How can I get involved? I want some performance at blank park. How do I do that? So one, I would like to see that because I believe that information is power. And those who have the information have the most power. And if they don't share it, then they're taking it away from others. So being as transparent as that as possible. I would like us to be a city that has some wonderful, accessible public art in the traditional sense and in the new emerging sense, right? So in the traditional sense, we have sculpture, murals, and public, things that we can all go to and enjoy. And then we also have, in the emerging sense, public art as public performance. Public community programs that engage our community and everyone feels welcomed. I would love to see that. I would like to see more artists engage in some of the issues we have talked about. In order to begin a dialogue about these issues, we do need art, right? We just saw most recently in the March for Women that some traditional protest art was a huge marker of culture for that protest. Right. And so, we just started this year with the new interpretation of the Risk and Innovation Grant, where we are asking artists to make art that answers questions about current issues. Right. Good. So where are those artists? I may not have a lot of money to give you for that. I will give you something. I mean, it's $1,000 for an artist, and we're looking for 4 artists to do this work and answer questions of the current issues and propose them to us. That's the first step as well for me. In addition to funding our professional artist fellows, in addition to funding our local arts organizations, it's a healthy balance to have all of this. Right. It's unhealthy to sway one way and not the other, right? So that's what I see in the future, and I want to see a strong volunteers, a strong board, a strong group of volunteers who participate in our committees, who participate in our meetings, because the power of the people is there. We just, we need more people.
Yeah, and I appreciate also those open conversations that you have, because I think that's a good starting place for talking about a lot of these issues. I remember us having a conversation with like building healthy communities maybe a year or two ago, and talking about why aren't there more community organizers working with artists. And vice versa, and I understand, people have a lot of jobs because not every artist can support themselves with their art. But I think that is a good place to start too. I think, I love the idea, let's start talking about what are the issues that are happening now. Because I always wondered, like, I don't know, I grew up in the 60s where there was protest art and protest theater and protest poetry and, and it's been here throughout, the last 50 years or so, but I wanted to see more of it here in Long Beach. And it doesn't have to be protest, but art that talks about difficult subjects. Right. I think that's real super important.
Right. And so we have an example not too far from us, and I went to Zoot Suit this past week.
I did. I also
there you go.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, I thought I had tickets for the last night, and then they extended it, so I wasn't able to see that last push from the cast where I was hoping to get. They're like, oh, it's the last night, but I'm glad they extended it, and the reason they extended it is because people want to see it.
Yeah, it was packed.
Right, it was packed. And so that can be here in Long Beach.
Yeah.
There's nothing that tells us that we can't have that in Long Beach.
Right.
And to understand if there are feelings of why we can't, then I needed to have those conversations, right? Why is there a feeling that we can't have it, or that we shouldn't have it, or that maybe someone does want it, and then it's not being told? I do not know what it is, but we can have that kind of impact here in Long Beach. Just like the taper had, we could have it here in Long Beach. Some people tell me since I've been here at the Arts Council that, that Long Beach has an identity crisis, and they think they're like the stepchild or they're inferior. And I'm like, well, forget that. I don't feel that at all.
I'm getting a little tired of hearing that.
Yeah, I'm like, that is not true. We have amazing artists here. We have amazing culture here. We have people who are committed to cultural expression. And we have funded many of them for many years. And I'm also committed to educating my staff and my board and investment in the Arts Council as well, because I can't just say that the problems are outside the Arts Council. We also have things to deal with in the council. Right. And so I want to invest in educating ourselves and becoming part of the larger community and seeing how we can help our board to be more connected. That's also important. Right. I want to help the city understand that too, and they've been wonderful in being a phone call away and being like, I have a question. I have this concern. And they've been so receptive. We can't move forward without all of that happening, right? Which it can seem like a lot.
It takes a lot of partners. It takes a lot of constituents,
yes.
and I will tell you, I'm very happy to hear a lot of what you're talking about. And I've seen, trust me, it's not like we've been standing still for the last 10 years. There's every year I see something that makes me smile because we've talked about it 5 years earlier. So there's a lot of good things going on.
Culture takes time,
and as you said, it takes some time to build things.
Yes.
I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. If someone wants to inquire further of you about the Arts Council, how would they go about doing that?
They can visit our website at artslb.org, and there they can find the microgrant application, the Risk and Innovation grant application, which is coming up soon. We have great staff that deal with grants, that deal with education and community programs. Right now we're working on the Cambodia Town Mural Project. And I'm so excited to be part of that project with so many community partners along the Anaheim corridor. And they can also sign up for our newsletter. And our newsletter not only says who we funded for the month, but it also says all the great events happening in town, artist calls, artist jobs, as much as we can get out there to share for our residents. The newsletter is really the place to get all that information.
Well, thank you again. You've been listening to Voices in Our Heads on PalaciaMagazine.com. I'm Antonio Ruiz. Thank you very much, Griselda Suarez.
You're very welcome. De nada.